before too long, you will be critiquing work of your classmates. I thought it'd be nice to critique work of people we don't know just to get more comfortable with it. Less stakes involved, since we don't know who these people are, that we're looking at their artwork and talking about it. And we're using structure. We're not talking about what we like and don't like so much, more about um, talking about the colors that are in use, the composition, saturation, things related to color theory. And so I'm gonna do 4 or 3. I don't. I'm gonna time myself and try to do 3 minutes each, and ask the same of you guys. So I'll talk really slow. All right. First one. All right. Warm colors. As far as the color scheme goes, warm colors. And they're kind of desaturated or pastel-y, right? They're not. It's not bright red or bright orange or bright yellow. So desaturated, black lines to hold everything together. It looks like it could have been a drawing that was like a traditional drawing that was digitally colored. Not that that matters too much, just but it's interesting to artists to think about how it was made. Seems like an intuitive process, but this person seemed like, as far as like deciding what to draw, but this person seems like they have a lot of experience with that kind of thing, being intuitive, like they have the cool border, and they like, there's like a cloudy looking shape with a face and 4 legs, and it's able to like be exist on its own, but also kind of interact with other things. But yeah, it seems like the artist is pretty good at making space for everything and not. There's like I'm noticing there's repeated faces, like these two on the very top looks like it was copied and pasted almost. So I don't know. Maybe it is a digital drawing, perhaps. Starting to wonder. Um, that part, yeah, as far as how it's made is interesting, but it's not too important. It is filling up my time. I'm at 2 minutes now, so you can do 3 minutes pretty easily. Composition is something I haven't talked about. Uh, there's it's I mean it's this is maybe it would be called maximalist. It's all flat. There's no depth. There's no depth of plane. Everything is right up front. Like nothing is overlapping anything else or behind. There's nothing in the distance. As far as the z axis, there's just the x axis and the y axis, which is up and down and left and right. Um, there's some nice amounts of negative space. That's the pink. There's just 4 colors. Could be good for a silk screen when having limited colors. It's good for printmaking. We got pink, orange, and yellow. Is that? Oh yeah, plus the black. So I guess that's 4 colors. Yeah. Well, then there's 2 different yellows. Yeah. So 5 if you count the black. In silkscreen, that would be 5 different screens. So it's kind of a lot, but I've seen silk screens with more. So yeah, this could be on a T-shirt or something. It almost feels like a maze, like something that you would follow. I wonder. It's making me wonder if it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but it could definitely be. It could have been a maze. Some parts look like they are a maze, but we're kind of like intestines. But composition wise, I like the negative space. It's very clustered in the center with these different little tiny things going around it. And yeah, there's some recognizable things like faces and cat shapes and things like that, and stuff that looks like intestines. But yeah, I did 4 minutes on that one. I think I'll move on to another one. So yeah, if you can do 3 minutes, that's good enough. If you can do five, that's even better. But yeah, I'm just looking for you to do at least 3 minutes. All right, so I'm going to reset my timer, starting again with this one. Okay, composition, horizontal pattern. The top one definitely could be described as a pattern, the red and yellow, with the black or kind of a greenish, brownish, muted, dark neutral color, or chromatic gray. That's a term we're going to get into, which is a gray that has a little bit of tone to it. So this is a dark chromatic gray. The border for that yellow shapes that are repeated. So that's a repeated pattern. Then there's like something that looks like a fence with a sun. That would be a repeated pattern, except it has a little bit more variation in it than the top pattern. And then we have something that might be reminiscent of waves, but it would be called, we would refer to it as stylized. So they're using the technique of drawing, not to make it look super realistic, but to evoke the feeling of waves, maybe, or something like that. Then there's maybe even things like eyes in there on the bottom. But yeah, stylized. It's symbolic. It's evoking an idea of the realism. Same with the fence. They're both stylized, but it doesn't look like a photograph. It looks like a drawing, and it looks pretty cool, I would have to say. I'm at 1:35. This composition of 3 stripes, and then I think that orange circle. I mean, I was gonna say it might get boring, but that orange circle is pretty exciting. How it breaks it up, and then that black. There's like a blue black lines going around the orange circle and to the left of it, which I think are helpful too, to add interest in there. And that fence is pretty fantastic. It's all the line work, and there's plenty of variety within that unity, within the consistency. So there's consistency as well as a lot of differences happening. Yeah, and it has a lot of movement to it. It feels like it's because of the lean of those fence posts. It really feels like it's moving this way. It feels very energetic with that line work, and this artist has shadow areas and highlight areas on the fence, and made something that could have been done pretty boring, made it pretty exciting with the way that they handled it. I like how the pattern on top is not reminiscent of anything, but then the other ones are. I think that's a cool mixture of, it's making us think of not get lost in thinking of something besides pattern, but looking at what everything is pattern. And rhythm, and feels like it could go on, another 10 feet to the left or 10 feet to the right, like it could be wrap around a whole room, like wallpaper or something like that. So it's kind of interesting. Looks like it could be tiled. Colors. I didn't really talk about color schemes or saturation yet. I was talking about the composition. I love the negative space above the sun, all that blank blue sky. So color, red, yellow, blue, plus some neutrals. So red, yellow, blue is a triad. It's the primary triad. And then there's the neutral brown. Is that a coal? It's kind of a greenish brown, right? So it counteracts, or it's contrasting as far as on the color wheel. It would be opposite red, the greenish, which adds could add some. I mean, it feels greenish, yellowish to me, kind of yellowish, yeah. But I think it's so it works with that cold green up on, or cold yellow up on top. For sure. It's almost like olive green, but it's more yellowy than that. So there's the having the colors show up in a couple different places or something similar is good for an artwork, and then having that little bit of contrast, this greenish yellow against the red, adds some tension and excitement to it. And now I'm at 5 minutes on that. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that one. Okay, and now one more. Let's just do one more. Let's just do a good example. So I'm talking, remember what I'm talking about. Composition for one thing. That's the layout. That's where everything is placed. And I'm using words like negative space. And subject, it would be a good word too, but it's kind of hard with abstract work. But I'm speaking to things that are, I mean, there's going to be, sometimes there'll be, we're not looking necessarily for things that are recognizable, but it could be helpful just to be descriptive, like, oh, that's like the fence, or the sky, the sun, that kind of thing, just to help. But also realizing that these are just shapes and colors and forms. And so about composition, talk about composition for sure, talk about saturation levels, and talk about color schemes. For sure. And if there's anything else that comes to mind, I will let you know on the third one. This is the last one that I will do as an example. This was reminding me of a satellite or a wheel, first off, just to get that out of the way. Or Vegas, like roulette or something like that, also. But anyway, I mean, when I said satellite first because we have all those blue flecks that could be reminiscent of stars. And then the yellow against the darks, it really glows. It feels like it's lit up, which is something that you might expect from a satellite too. If this was a satellite out in space, it would be gorgeous. I mean, it is gorgeous as a work of art too. Feels kind of small, just in the size of those splotches. I think someone took a brush and pulled back on it when it was loaded with paint to make those splotches. So I'm thinking this is on the small side, maybe about this big or something like that. Small side. Color relationships. Wow. Well, it's got everything in it. It even has a little bit of green. I was going to say without green, but there is a little bit of greenish stuff. So maybe not so much on the green, but it's got everything on the wheel, as far as I can tell. Just about. Or a bunch of things. So it's got primary red, yellow, and blue, and it's got secondary violet, orange, and a little bit green. And then not so much on the tertiary. Yeah, not so much on the tertiary. But yeah, definitely primary and secondary. I mean, you could say that's a blue-green. I mean, the blue might be getting blue-green in some places. The violet's staying pretty much violet. The green is kind of blue-green. So a little bit of tertiary, but it mostly feels like as far as the color, it's someone combining primary and secondary colors. That would be the main gist of it. The composition is radial. This is radial, coming from a center point, radiating out. Centered in terms of the the stuff that's coming out of it. It's not centered in the picture. It's off to the side, which composition-wise would be recommended. Having something in the center is a way to kill the interest in your artwork because it just becomes static right in the middle. Having it be against the side and having tension from that is nice to have it coming off of one side. It adds some directionality. It's like everything's moving out from it. If it was in the center, it might work, but it's more likely it'll work to one side or the other as far as interest. And then you have the opportunity for these big spaces too, with these things that were reminding me of stars, these little splotches. Did I time this one? Well, I'm at 10 minutes, so yeah, I didn't reset the timer, but I think I've already spent another 5 minutes on this one. So composition for sure. Talk about the composition, and you might not know all the terms, but make them up. Like I use the term radial, which is pretty common in talking about compositions. You might see a strong diagonal. Talk about things like dominant shape. Like what's the dominant shape? What's more taking up more real estate than other things? This is basically a big circle is taking up a major part. That's this taking a major part of the real estate. So composition, color relationships. That would be like what I was saying. If we have a triad, if we have a split complementary, monochromatic. What's the color scheme? And then saturation. I didn't talk about that yet with this one. That red is highly saturated. The orange is highly saturated. The yellow is highly saturated. The blue is pretty saturated. These are prismatic. They're all highly saturated. So these are called prismatic colors. They're not muted. So nothing's really muted. Maybe the greens slightly. Yeah, they seem kind of muted. So yeah. You can almost see some red like mixed in there. So yeah, the greens are muted. But everything else is pretty prismatic. The hue is pure. So yeah, talk about saturation, color relationships or color schemes, and composition, and whatever else comes to mind. And do at least 3 minutes. All right. Thanks.